The moment has arrived.
I pushed the button. It's going to work.
This is going to be scary good, man.
I'm sorry?
We're killing it. It's Maddie Levine with my good friend Dave Van Auken. Welcome to the Fight Banana Show.
The ruthless one, Elle Dawson.
Hey, guys.
Our girl, Gillian the Savage Robertson.
What's up? How you guys doing?
Welcome to the Fight Bananas Show. 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern, only on Fight Bananas.
What's up, guys? How is everyone doing this wonderful Tuesday afternoon in Fight Bananas land? We are live, absolutely live, and usually there's multiple characters and people in different screens. It's just me. That's how life happens sometimes, right? That's how it goes. So, yeah, some stuff happened, and we're moving and rotating, but we'll start the show, guys. Packed show. We got Brandon Davis coming on around 12 to 14 minutes. Of course, the GOAT, Gillian the Savage Robertson, is live at 2 p.m. Cam Bennett, Island Fights, making his pro debut at 2:30. So, yeah, it's going to be stacked. All right, a lot to get into. And before we talk to guests and preview what's ahead, UFC 308, guys, we are finally here. To me, was the fight of the year, the fight that I've been looking forward to the most. Ilia Topuria, Max Holloway, main event. Featherweight championship on the line. Cannot wait. That's UFC 308. But before we preview and go ahead, let's kind of look back on what we just saw this past weekend. Insane weekend, first and foremost, right? Like there was there's boxing. There was actually in Orlando, Florida, boxing. Bananas was down there doing the handle on that. Of course, UFC Vegas 99, Fluffy Hernandez. A lot of Charles Johnson, absolute stud performance over the weekend. But of course, I think the thing that we, at least I want to talk about first, and I think most of these socials were on, was the PFL super fights. So with that being at hand, kind of jump into that. There's pros and cons of what I saw this past Saturday for PFL super fights. Let's start with the pros. Let's be as much positive as possible. Yo, what's up, Leprechaun? Yeah, man, we're just exclusively doing on YouTube today. No Facebook streaming on YouTube. We're bulking this thing up. We're going gasoline YouTube. But back to the PFL. Some pros. The three fighters, and of course the top two was the top two. But Paul Hughes, right? Big news. Paul Hughes, big fight. Seems like every fighter has that fight, right? Every fighter has that one that they're going to ascend into a big-time fight, a big-time championship fight. Sugar Sean O'Malley, to me, that was Peter Yan. Remember when him and Yan, that was the fight? Dricus du Plessis fought Bobby Knuckles. That was the fight. Are they going to ascend to the championship match realm? Or nothing wrong with it. Are they going to be top 10, top 8 guys? Paul Hughes defeating AJ McKee was that fight. Great fight for him. Great win for him. He's already had Nurmagomedov in his mouth. They talked about it afterwards. Socials ran with it. I assume we will see Nurmagomedov and Hughes in the near future for whatever belt they're fighting for. And that I will, of course, get into really quickly. Let me push that button. So there we go. We got that. So that was Paul Hughes. Second, Cyborg. Absolute. That's an iconic win for Cyborg. It's weird of where she's at in the all-time list. Sometimes people are I think, kind of, speak bad about her name and where she's at. But guys, every organization she's ever fought for, like the big ones, the 5 big ones, she's won the championship in all 5. Like, I know she has that loss against Amanda Nunes and just melted hot knife butter, that scenario. I get it. And I don't have any personal ties to Cyborg. I actually never talked to Cyborg. I'm very friendly with Kayla Harrison. Amanda Nunes is a stud. I even think Ronda gets shamed on now, but the run that Ronda had was legendary. But like, it's hard to, if you say out there, Cyborg is the greatest female fighter of all time, like it's a hard debate. It really is. Like she wins. She's a champ. And there's something about, in basketball, the LeBron and Jordan debate. Jordan was on one team, was dominant, best ever, and you can argue that, and that's Amanda Nunes. Amanda Nunes, UFC, on top, did what she did, best ever, and I can hear that. But what LeBron has done on the other side of different teams, different, there you go. I agree. she's a pioneer and still going. She's the champ. She just beat Larissa Pacheco, who I think has people have no idea how good Pacheco is. But Cyborg has done it in different organizations, different time zones. Just look at all of her wins. Like her wins are just incredible. She has so many different wins against so many different eras in female MMA. Like it's weird. It's one of those things like I said, I don't have a dog in the fight, and I actually have never really talked to Cyborg, don't have any positive relationship with her, but just you got to give credit where credit's due. Cyborg, all-time female, great for sure. Maybe the GOAT, maybe. So that was Cyborg. And then, of course, Francis Ngannou. Like, I don't know if you guys saw the fight or saw afterwards. What Francis Ngannou did and how emotional that was. I don't think people realize how close we were of never seeing Francis Ngannou in an octagon again, right? Or a smart cage again. What, you know what I mean? A MMA scenario. Hats off to him. I agree with a lot of things I've been hearing since that fight. I wasn't necessarily high on Renan Ferreira being that type of like crazy matchup. A lot of, professional bettors thought Francis was a gift. I thought he was too. Going to pull the curtain up. I bet on him. I even bet on him to get the TKO. Not going to, want a little tip of the feather to me. But what Francis did to get the win and to have all the emotion of everything of the sun, everything, it was pretty impactful. It was probably one of the best wins in MMA history. Like I said, I know he didn't defeat the biggest or maybe the most talented guy. I get it, but to come back from something I will never speak on of my worst enemy, I would never wish that would happen to. That's just one of those things of humanity. That's probably the worst thing that can happen to a human being. And for him to come back and to fight again and to win again and look dominant like he has, all the Francis Nurmagomedov thing was pretty funny. So I think it was pretty wild that, he's the man. He is definitely the best win of the weekend, and his legacy continues to move and improve and improve. So with all that being said, a lot of the stuff I saw afterwards as well is who is the best heavyweight alive in MMA? Who is it? I'm checking on Brandon Davis, making sure we're all good. Okay, we are. The best heavyweight alive. And that's going to be a debate we're going to hear on forever and ever on. And there's no wrong answer. There's no right answer. And the three people that you can kind of, I think, talk about is Francis Ngannou, John Jones, and Tom Aspinall, right? It's your PFL Bellator champion, whatever you want. And I will get into that in a second. Trust me, I will. I'm coming after PFL in a second about that. John Jones is the UFC heavyweight champion, maybe the greatest, to me, inside the octagon, the greatest mixed martial artist I've ever seen. He's the sitting heavyweight champion. And of course, you got the younger, in his prime, Tom Aspinall, who's the interim heavyweight championship for the UFC. Who's the best? I know we're supposed to be defined and definite here. I'm honestly not sure. All three of them have their pros and cons and different stuff and different nature. It's hard to go against Francis right now. It's really hard to go Francis and seeing what he's doing. I would love to see everyone's like the Francis Jones. Francis and Tom Aspinall to me is the matchup. I don't think there's a better matchup in all of mixed martial arts than Francis Ngannou and Tom Aspinall. I know we're not going to get it. I know that's a fantasy booking, so say, but I know we got Jones and Stipe here in a couple weeks, and that's a big, big fight. That's a big fight, guys. If Jones wins that fight, are we going to see him walk away? Are we going to see the Jones and Aspinall in 2025? I'm not sure. I'm really not. And there's a part of me there, and as much as I would love to see Jones and love to see Jones and Aspinall, there's a part of me that wants just that division to move forward and keep going. And I think if Jones wins, salutes the crowd, puts the gloves in the octagon, Madison Square Garden, the world's most famous arena, where the New York Knicks are back tonight, by the way. If that's what happens in 2025, we can move forward with Tom Aspinall and just the rest of the division. Volkov, gone, all the other guys right behind him. it's kind of weak there at the top, to be honest. But I would just like to see the division move forward, onward and upward. So that's that. I got a couple minutes before Brandon gets on. Let me speak on something about the PFL and the super fights and Bellator and all this. Guys, it's just I think as a consumer, as a base, as a people, we're pretty simple-minded people, right? Blades is number 4 behind Volkov. Thank you, Leprechaun. Yeah, Curtis is up there. I know he just took the L, but yeah, Blades is definitely a contender for sure. We are a simple-minded people, especially with our sports. Like I think that's why we love playoffs and like what we see in the World Series. If you win in advance, there's something great about that. And I think we as a mankind love that. Win in advance, win and play. I think that's why we love that March Madness bracket. Keep winning and you get upsets and sooner or later you play for the championship. What's happening in the PFL? I don't know. I don't understand it. Someone who has an MMA outlet with Fight Bananas, and we post and we have multiple shows and multiple things going on, and this is what we do. This is what I do. I talk and cover mixed martial arts. And especially someone who's been at so many PFL events. I just don't get it. I don't understand. Who's the PFL champion? Who's the Bellator champion? I saw a picture of Cyborg holding the Bellator championship, and they're on social saying, who's next? Is she not the PFL champion? Is she not the PFL super fight champion? Is she the PFL super fight champion and the Bellator champion? I just don't get it. I don't know what's what. And then on the card, how many times did they have like Bellator fighters fighting? Like the AJ McKee and Paul Hughes, but then didn't Paul Hughes get signed by the PFL? It seems like I just don't understand. I just don't get it. I just want the UFC is one thing. It's one weight class. It's you win and you keep winning. You fight for a championship. Guys, Bilal, remember the name Muhammad just keeps winning. You're going to fight for the championship. I say it all the time. If you just keep winning, and I know of course it's hard at the highest level of mixed martial arts, but if you win, you just become undeniable. Especially at the top levels, any UFC fighter goes on a 10-fight winning streak, you're fighting for the world championship. It's just what you do. You just keep winning. So I'm just so intrigued or mysterious about what is the PFL doing? Who's running stuff? Who's their champion? When is Francis going to fight again? What organization is he going to fight it for? I guess the championship fights are on November 29th. Is Cyborg fighting on that card? Is she not? It's so murky. It's just, I don't understand. If anyone has any kind of input on that, please put it in the comments. I would love to hear from you guys, but it's just so random who fights and when they fight and what organization they fight for. And I know it's going to sound so crazy. They should just move forward with one. To me, PFL bought Bellator. Just make it PFL. You won. You won the takeover. Just every event should be a PFL event. Have fight nights. Have pay-per-views. Have super fights. That's fine. Just everyone should be under that banner. I just don't understand on a PFL super fight card why there's Bellator fighters fighting on it. I just don't get it. I don't get it. All right. So that's my rant rocker off of the PFL. Let me see if Brandon... Let's see this. Yeah, Brandon's going to be coming on here in 1 second. Yeah, I know, guys. We got L. Davis coming on here in a second. L. Davis, L. Dawson. I think it's L. Dawson, right? Yeah. So we got L coming on later. Gillian's coming on at 2 o'clock. Cam Bennett, 2:30. So, guys, by the way, Island Fights 85 is this Friday night. I will be there live in the building. Cannot wait to commentate. It is, I say it all the time, and you guys are probably tired of hearing it if you know me. It is the best thing that I do. It is home. It doesn't matter what I do or what organization I do it for or what it is involved in this space. Commentating for Island Fights, the best. There's nothing better. It is home. there's Cam. So that's Friday night. Also, guys, November 15th, Game Bred Bare Knuckle. We're going to be talking to one half of the main event, Brandon Davis, here in a quick second. That's on November 15th. I know tickets are still on sale. Sucks. Too easy. Got mollywopped. Yeah, for sure. Also, guys, UFC Vegas 99 this past weekend. Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. What a performance by him. It doesn't matter if you're a great wrestler, jits, kickboxer. Doesn't matter. All these great traits. If you told me, if my son was like saying, hey, Dad, I'm going to get into mixed martial arts, I'd be like, okay, start jogging, start doing push-ups. I just want the cardio base. You see it in Merab Dvalishvili. We see it in just what we saw with Fluffy Hernandez, Covington during the prime. If you just have this great cardio, if you're just like a madman and you just go forward the whole time, you melt people. You absolutely melt people. It's probably the most underrated part about mixed martial arts. And I say it all the time. They always do like tail of the tape guys or some of those platforms. They do like little checks. Who's a better striker? Check. Who's a better ground game? Check. Wrestler? Check. They never see at the bottom who's got a better pace, who's got a better cardio, who's got a better gas tank. And I will take that more than anything. I'll take that over striking. I'll take that over everything. So. Texting Brandon right now. Yeah, Brandon Davis coming on. Yeah, we talked to Randy Costa a couple of times. I think Randy will be on next week's show or the week after that. Don't want to talk to him so close in front of the fight. That's going to, dude, Randy Costa versus Brandon Davis in Game Bred Bare Knuckle MMA. Like, sign me up. I cannot wait to be there. I'm getting paid to be there. Greatest thing ever in the world. Greatest thing ever. Game Bred Bare Knuckle, November 15th. Cannot wait. Stack card, by the way. I don't know if you guys seen it. Go to it. Go to Game Bred Bare Knuckle MMA on their socials, YouTube channel. You'll see the card. The card is incredible. So that's Game Bred Bare Knuckle on November 15th. All right, what else? That's L. Just me today here, guys. I love it. All right. Yeah, here's another thing. And I'll talk to Brandon when he gets in about it too. Sorry. Sent Brandon the link. he's typing back right now. All right. There was a fight on UFC Vegas 99. Ooh. I don't see you, Brandon. I'm sorry, guys. All right, let me do something. On the spot, adding people in. Just the link didn't work that I sent. Boom, sending that. Oh, what I was getting at, guys. So UFC 99, we see some of the best mixed martial artists in the world. Great flyweight. Charles Johnson got a great win. We saw Anthony Fluffy Hernandez, like just phenomenal fights. But there was one fight. What's up, Drew? There was one fight on the card. It was a female fight. And just, if it was a guy fight or a guy fight, Here, Brandon, I'm sending it right now to you. But there was a fight on the card. It was Edwards versus Vidal, I think is the name. So I'm sorry if I butchered it. Those two ladies should not be a part of the UFC. And I know that might be a hot take, hard take, too much angst on someone. They're just not great mixed martial artists. And I feel like, to me, you lessen the brand, you lessen the card when you have a type of fight like that. And it's the UFC. Everyone should not be in the UFC. Everyone should not be at the highest level of mixed martial arts. And for those two ladies to fight on the card, I'm watching them like one girl missed weight. She's missed weight multiple times. To me, she looked not good, like just bad. Like they shouldn't be in the UFC. I don't understand why I feel like it's a, in soccer nowadays for the kids, everyone gets an award. Everyone wins. It's not true. That's not happens in life. There's winners and losers. Sometimes you win and sometimes you lose. Michael Jordan has lost games, right? Islam Makhachev has lost a fight. It happens. You win and you lose. And it's when everyone gets an award, everyone gets a UFC, you kind of lessen it. So I just didn't like that. But all right, finally, technical issues on my part. But finally having him back in. One half of the main event for Game Bred Bare Knuckle MMA on November 15th in Biloxi, Mississippi. Killer B, Brandon Davis.
What's going on, man?
How are you, dude?
Good. I'm actually on break from work right now.
All right. I'll be short and sweet, man. I'll be short and sweet. All right, brother?
Oh, yeah.
How's the baseball going, man? The last time we talked, your son's hitting 2 home runs in a game. Your boy still playing ball?
Oh, yeah. They just started fall ball, and he's doing good. He switches between pitcher, shortstop, and second, and he's killing it.
That's the prime position. I like that. It's like being in the main event. I like that. I respect that. All right, my man. Let's get to it. November 15th, featherweight championship on the line for Game Bred Bare Knuckle MMA. You versus Randy Costa.
Bantamweight,
my fault. Bantamweight. I got the featherweight with Topuria and Max Holloway on my mind. When that, I assume Dean called you or when you got that, I knew it was a long time in the making. How pumped were you to get this match and get the championship fight and everything to be?
Oh, yeah. Dean actually told me, seems like 8 months ago.
I know.
Like, everything I put off for forever. But man, I'm super excited. Randy is a great fighter. Beat Jason pretty bad last time. I think the fight would have been a little different if he wouldn't have caught him with the head kick right out of the gate. But he did, and he did what he was supposed to do. Finished him. He rocked him, and he finished him from there.
Yeah.
And made it look good, and I'm excited about doing it again.
I love it. So this is your third time, right? It was Ago the first one, then Joe Party Penafil, and then this one.
Yeah.
I know maybe a generic question or an easy question. What did you that first time being with Ago and then Joe Party Penafil, was there stuff that you're like, oh my goodness, I learned, I understand more, the jabs hurt more, whatever it is? Was there some steps that you kind of got through those first 2 fights?
No, it's literally, to me, it's still just fighting. I mean, You feel there's a little more sting on the punches, and it's a little easier to grab stuff. To grab your hands and lock them and unlock people's hands. It's a little harder to unlock people's hands. You're slipping off their hands instead of being able to grip in the gloves. But just a little more sting. Got to have to have a little bit better range.
Right.
But other than that, no. The Ago fight was just another fight. I thought I beat him, and judges thought otherwise or whatever. It was real close. I think split decision or whatever. So, I mean, I didn't really learn anything between the two. Is just go in there and fight, and hopefully you get it finished. But if not, hopefully the judges give it to you.
Yeah, and it's wild to me that all three of the guys that you're fighting, Ago, Party Penafil, and Costa, all three of them, at least personality-wise, are like the polar opposites, right? Like Ago to me was like more quiet, but like kind of, not serious, but like was very intense in a way. We all know Joe Party Penafil was pretty wild that you guys, the last 5 fights that guys fought is always like death and nail, but you guys had a cool thing kind of going into it, a lot of respect, a lot of fun going into it. And it, like everything I talked to Randy, Randy's got nothing but the most respect for you. Really positive about the whole Biloxi scene. It's wild. Does it mess with you at all? You're a veteran of the game, Brandon. You've done so much in the industry. Does it matter what kind of personality you do fight? Is there a personality you like to fight more?
The cocky people are more fun to fight because
okay.
you get to beat it when you beat them. All right, motherfucker, all that cocky shit and didn't do anything. But you notice, like, I mean, even Algo, when we did our little stare down and he like got on my face and I was like, I ain't backing. I ain't worried about you. I done fought some of the best people in the world. You think I'm scared of you? I didn't say that. I just showed that. Yeah. And then after that, he like changed and he was super cool the whole time.
He was.
I think real is what you real recognize real. So I mean, I don't put on a fake attitude. I'm not gonna do any of this fake shit. So same thing with Joe. We know how he is. He knows how I am. I mean, we're just gonna be real. We're both real people. Randy the same way. We know we haven't got to put on this bullshit show. We know we're coming in there to fight, and we know how we fight is gonna be enough to sell tickets and make people want to watch it. If you go watch our first fight, you'll be able to tell that. It would have been fight of the night if we didn't have Max Holloway versus Dustin Poirier after, and then Izzy versus Kevin Gastelum. So if that didn't happen, we would have had fight of the night off that. That was one of the few fights where Dana actually came backstage and was like, "Man, I appreciate that. That was a badass fight." Whatever, like came and congratulated me right after the fight and everything. That's one of the few times he's done that. But I mean, like I said, you say they're all different personalities, but when you watch us getting face off and do all this, they're all the same because they know that I'm not trying to be some fake dude or gonna. Yeah. When we get in there and fight, we're gonna find out. So.
I even asked Randy the same thing. Is there anything you can take? You were the winner that night. You were the victor. You said how badass that fight is, and I think that's why we are all so damn excited for November 15th. Fight was crazy. Now you're going to take off the gloves, and I feel you and even Randy are better than what you were that night 6-7 years ago, whatever it was. Like, is there anything you can take? Is there a big brother part of it? Like, hey, I won that fight. Like, I got the uppins on that. Or does anything of that nature to this one?
And fuck Randy, this is an easy fight. No, I'm just playing. I'm hoping that's how everybody thinks that I'm taking it. It's an easy fight. I've already beat him. Like, or I'm hoping that he's taking it like that, whatever. And that I'm taking it light. Man, I've been working my ass off. Like I said, I saw what he did to Jason, and he looked good, and he looked improved. But I've improved a lot as well. To me, there's no big brother. Each fight can go however. He hit me with a shot that rocked me in that second round in the first fight. And I hit him with some stuff that hurt him, and then I finished him. So, I mean, anything could happen. You never know. If he would have, after that punch he landed in the second round, and just landed a few more, maybe he would have won the fight, and then it'd be completely different. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I know the fight isn't going to be easy. I won, whatever. Maybe that gets to him. Like, maybe it would be in his head some, but I don't let that affect me as far as like, oh, it's going to be an easier fight. I've already beat him. I'm training just like I should anyways if I haven't fought the dude or if the dude beat me.
Gotcha. Okay. One more for you, my man. Then I'll let you, hey, we'll sell some t-shirts after that, and then I'll let you run. I talked to Dean numerous of times about it, and he's like, he's over the UFC veteran thing, right? He's over like, oh, what you did in the past. He wants game-bred, bare-knuckle MMA fighters. Like, with you winning this championship on November 15th, can you kind of foresee, is that maybe the game plan? Like, hey, I'm a game-bred, bare-knuckle MMA fighter for the next 3, 4, 5 years, whatever it is, and bigger checks and bigger fights going forward. Is that kind of where your headset is? Or is it like literally one fight at a time, I'll take what's next? Or can you see literally the rest of your career under this banner?
Well, I mean, the UFC doesn't care about this, so it's not like I'm taking these fights hoping to get back into the UFC because they don't like the bare knuckle thing. I guess it's like they don't even look at the records or if you won a fight or whatever. If you lost a fight, they don't take that into consideration. Okay. To me, this is where I am. I'm happy with where I am. I want to beat the champ for as long as I can be the fucking champ. Yeah. So, I mean, I have no other plans than fighting for them. They pay good. They treat you good. And they actually they don't have put together a shit show. They do it just like if you're in the UFC. I mean, there's a few little differences, but I mean, they're still a growing business. But they do it as well as they can for what they have, and I mean, you can tell, and that's what I like to see and be a part of. So, I mean, I plan on fighting for them until I'm done fighting, and I plan on being the champ until I plan to retire. So,
yeah. I like that. I like that, my man. Hey, I cannot wait. I'll see you at that press conference. I assume that Wednesday before the show. Yeah, let's sell some T-shirts. I know you got some T-shirts. Anything else you want to plug, sponsors, anything you want to push, my man? Platform's yours.
I don't have T-shirts. They're still getting made. It's been pushed back, but I have T-shirts coming. I have a little surprise for everybody. Knows I sell a whole section out of the arena. I'm going to have a surprise for everybody that has a seat at the table. It's going to be pretty cool. But the T-shirts are going to be Killer B and new, and then I'll have some blue Let's Go Brandon and new 2024 at the bottom, just because, I mean, it's election year. It's about almost election time, and it just fit perfectly. Sponsors, Lucas Estate Planning, I love them. They are one of my biggest sponsors. Let me see. Faster Athlete has been helping me. They're my strength conditioning coach. I go all the way to Mobile to do this. This is how good he is. Yeah, almost Spanish Fort. So it's an hour and a half drive every morning there, and then an hour and a half back. That's how good he is and knows what he's doing. He's got plenty of athletes in the NFL that he trains, and so he's very sports specific. I love doing that. If you're anywhere on the coast or the coast of Alabama, Faster Athlete, that's who you want to get with. And then Sideline Sports Bar, and last but not least, Wakeland Properties. I appreciate y'all as a sponsor as well. If you're over in the Gulf Coast area, check them out for real estate. They got the best deals. Teresa's the best, so check her out.
Awesome, man. Hey, Brandon, always appreciate you. Appreciate your time. I like that video you dropped earlier. It was, about fighting, about hitting the person, not getting hit. I like that. I think that's the key, right?
Hey, you watch Connor fight and you see him, and back in the day when he was killing it.
Yeah.
And he literally will throw, and then Eddie Alvarez will miss, and he'll like touch his nose, and then he's right back throwing and hitting.
Yeah.
If you get too far out of range, you can't return. It's like running, like I said in the video, it's like running the hurdles. The higher you jump the hurdle, the longer it takes for you to get the ground, so you're going to be a slower person. The more you get out of range, the longer it's going to take for you to be able to throw back, so they're going to be ready to defend or they're going to be throwing again. So you want to make them miss by making it look like it hits you. So, and that's one thing that does get me messed up in fights, though, is that the judges do think that I got hit because it's so close, and you'll see my face after a fight. It's clean. I like the punches missed so closely. It looks like I got hit, so they count that against me, but I get to return at the same time. But if you're not getting the finish, I guess it could be bad because I've had a couple of split decisions. I was like, man, I landed a lot more than him. And you can see he's messed up and I'm all clean. But, hey, it is what it is. So we know this fight isn't going 5 full rounds.
I was going to say that. I don't think we need the judges that night, my man. I don't think we're going to see judges.
Hey, I'm in shape for 5 full rounds, so he better be too, if the case may be that. But I just don't foresee that.
Awesome. Hey, Brandon, man, cannot wait, brother. Cannot wait to be in Biloxi, Mississippi. We'll see you guys November 15th. One half of the main event for the Bantamweight Championship of the World. Brandon Davis. Appreciate you, brother.
Yes, sir. Let's go.
All right, man. Later. All right. Brandon Davis. One guest becomes another. I missed her dearly. Dear friend, the integral part of Fight Bananas, the ruthless one, Elle Dawson.
Hello.
Dude, no more dump truck comments. That's it. We're onward and upward.
Yeah, no more. No, it's definitely all still Instagram. That's got to be my new brand because I got I broke 10,000 followers on Instagram for the first time ever thanks to Grant. So we'll have to see what the people want.
It's so funny you said that. I was gonna make a post about it, but then I've just been so busy doing Fight Banana stuff and watching fights. I got over 30,000 over last week.
Let's go. I saw the Instagram's been popping.
Dude.
People have been very active on the Instagram.
Yeah, I love it. Let me get this comment real quick. So we're going to announce the winner for that Benny DeRouche card. Literally right after this show, I will go on and randomly pick one person. Yes, it could be you. It could be you. You could be the winner. I got a Benny DeRouche number card. So we did another giveaway. So I've been doing just giving away stuff. So doing that. And I also got something cool coming in the mail for me, Elle. I'll take a picture of it, and I think you and Grant will like it a lot.
Can't wait.
So, how's everything going? How's things at the Dawson's estate?
You know what? Things are not too shabby. We have news. We are under contract for a house.
Woo!
Our first house in South Florida. So that is pretty exciting. We
just win UFC fights, you can just buy houses.
That's just, it's crazy. It's crazy how that works.
I love it. I know you probably missed a lot of the Brandon thing, dude. Brandon Davis and Randy Costa in a game bred bare knuckle 5-round championship fight.
Absolutely epic. It's going to be an amazing fight. There's no, I heard you guys talking about at the end, like there's no way the judges have to do their job. No, absolutely not.
No, they can take, when we get to the main event, they can just leave. They can just beat traffic. Like,
just enjoy the fight. Enjoy the fight.
And also too, I'm saying this, it might not be a 1-round fight. It might be multiple rounds, but it's going to be such a hella card, a hella fight. It's not going 25 minutes.
I agree.
All right. So I talked a lot before you kind of came on, but I want your course takes and input. We got 24 minutes before G gets on and then Cam Bennett. So we got a lot of time here. Let's start in what the PFL did this over the weekend. What's your 2-3 takes that you took from Saturday's show?
I think we brought this up several times, and I think they make a lot of mistakes by not promoting their guys, like their homegrown champs. And they did the same thing with Renan Ferreira. And I think they thought that they only needed to do that if Renan won that fight. But if they had promoted him, because he is a really talented heavyweight and a very unusual heavyweight to be that big and that athletic, like he's an unusual guy. You don't see fighters like him a lot. If they had pushed that a little bit more and really built him into a superstar, then I think it makes that win for Francis and for the PFL so much bigger. Right. You know, I feel like they could have benefited more from that fight based on their own marketing, regardless of who had won. If they had built up Renan, then if Renan beats Francis, it's like, oh, our guy beat the UFC's best guy, you know? And then if what happened, it's like, oh, well, Francis's win means so much more because we showed how good Renan was and we talked about him constantly. And they just didn't really do that. And I think they're making a similar mistake with Johnny. You know, I think
real quickly to put the expiration point on what you just said. The last 24 hours. So that fight went off at 5:45 or 6:45 p.m. That fight, Francis and Renan. So the 24 hours prior, there is as many posts about Renan Ferreira for the PFL socials than there was with Robert Gronkowski. The same amount of posts.
Like a guy that doesn't even do the same sport.
He's a football player who they were like, it was cool that he was like talking about it, or he was like on the Ariel Helwani cast. But like, I'm sorry, my language here. Who gives a fuck? Like, why are you promoting anyone like Ray Lewis or any football player or anyone with a UFC in their name? They would push to the moon, but their own damn fighters that are fighting Johnny Emlyn and Renan, they just don't promote. Like, it's the dumbest thing ever.
It's what the UFC has done so well for so long is build these homegrown guys. And it's like, and it's a long-term investment and they just refuse to do that. It's like, oh, this is flashy and new. Throw it out there. This is flashy. And it's like, but you're not building your homegrown guys. You're just taking talent from elsewhere and hoping it sticks. You know, like what if Francis had lost?
Yeah.
Like you've put all your eggs in that basket. What if Francis had lost and you've promoted Renan? Not at all. You know, like
Bo Nickel was on the show last week. It's our show. It's L. Dawson, Maddie Levine, Dave Van Alken's our show. We appreciate Bo. We like Bo. We think he's an absolute star, could be a future champion. But it's our show. It's the Fight Banana show with a great guest, Bo Nickel last week. This week, we have Brandon Davis. We have Cam Bennett. We love Gillian Robertson, right? Like, it's our show. Everyone that comes on, it's our show. Like, it's so wild that they would promote anything and everything else. Imagine it just at Fight Bananas if we just promote Bo Nickel. Like, that's it. It's like, no, it's our show. It's so crazy. So crazy.
No,
Sean's got
100%.
great comments about Michelle Pereira. We'll get into that. This is exactly what I was saying. Yeah, it was Gronk and Ray Lewis was on it for like 12 minutes.
Well, it's like, why would like football? Okay. Football fans follow them, right?
Yeah.
Football fans aren't going to buy a pay-per-view because of who's watching the pay-per-view. Like,
100%.
Like why would I buy a pay-per-view because somebody I know is watching it? Like I would buy a pay-per-view if somebody I know is competing in it.
Yeah.
But I don't know anybody because you haven't bothered to promote this incredibly talented roster of fighters that you have. A guy like AJ McKee is a huge prospect for them. Huge prospect. Like Johnny, AJ, and obviously like and still Henan. Like that's the thing too. Like when a fighter loses, the UFC still promotes them.
Of course.
Because they know that there's still fights to make for them. It's like as soon as if somebody isn't their champ at the time, it's like they literally don't care about them at all.
You're dead to me. You're
like
dead.
Larissa Pacheco is dead to the PFL.
Yeah.
And I'm like, she's still incredible. She's still gonna maul tons of girls.
Oh,
you still have big fights to make in the future. Larissa Pacheco and Clarissa Shields, big fight to make. But they've stopped. They're gonna stop promoting Larissa Pacheco now. You know, it's so weird. It's strange to me. It's a strange strategy. It doesn't really make sense to me.
You're right. I'm not trying to be. It's not a strategy. It's just plain dumb. That's the problem. They don't have a strategy or strategist. They're just trying to pop one number. They're like, what can we do to sell one card? And again, back to the point of like, I don't care if Gronk or Ray Lewis is watching the card. I care about the fighters that are fighting on the card. And you know what? Why I care about them? Because of what they did for the last 6 years, 5 years, 4 years under your banner. Like,
but if I don't know that,
yeah,
why would I care?
Yeah,
and like Sean has a good comment here. Okay, so the difference between, he said it turned out being like the Sphere where it just didn't live up to the hype. I agree. They hyped it up so much. The difference with the Sphere is the production at least lived up to the hype. And honestly, I thought the card was great too. Yes, it may not have been UFC 300 all over again, like people were expecting it to be, but
the Sphere was amazing.
Itself lived up to the hype. And the PFL production, like their production team is great, but it's just, it's not enough to make up for the fact that they didn't promote the fighters.
Yeah. And then back to, and I literally made a post right before we went on air, and you kind of just nailed on something, and I will piggyback exactly what you just said and what I've been saying. AJ McKee fights for Bellator, and Johnny Eblin is a Bellator middleweight champion who fought for the PFL super fight champion. Is he a double champion now? Is he a PFL champion? Is he a back to the Bellator champion?
Well, that's a totally different belt, remember? Because there were 2 heavyweight belts in the same night.
I know. What is Johnny Eblin? I don't even know what he is. He's a friend of yours. What is he? I don't even know.
I don't think Johnny knows. Like he's just happy to keep fighting and keep defending belts. But I agree. I like the way that it was promoted. The PFL CEO came out and was like, and here's the other thing too. When the UFC hypes up a card, they don't go, oh, this is going to be so much better than PFL's card, because that makes you lose value. Like just don't, and definitely don't compare it to something that is better than it. Like, of course, this card wasn't going to be better than UFC 300. What a ridiculous thing to say. I have the best husband.
Is that pizza?
My frozen pizza. Dude, that I'm about to smash.
Was that a future UFC champion handing you just pizza?
Yeah,
just live in the show?
Serving me pizza. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I know I said I wasn't going to eat on the show anymore, but no, I lied.
I'll take it because of
it's really hot.
Our schedules change. No. So this is a fine point. The production wasn't as bad. Social media comments. No, the production wasn't that bad.
Their team is really great. Like they have a great production team. They do.
No, I agree. But again, it's back to whoever's running the show, which whatever we saw as a consumer online does a mediocre job at best. It's not great. It's not. And then back to the social media comments. You are what people think of you in a way. Like if People think Bilal Muhammad's boring. I'm sorry. That's the shtick he has.
Which is bizarre because he's not that boring.
Oh, I agree. His last fight wasn't boring. Like, it was dominated. Like,
Right.
It wasn't boring. That's the shtick he has, so that's what he has. The PFL has to go above and beyond their shtick. Like, if you're a boy or a girl and you're in middle school, you're kissing a couple different girls, you get a bad term on you. Until you break that shtick, that's who you are. Like, that's just life. Like, they got to do better. And then
and we didn't really answer your question. I'm sorry. The production isn't like,
no,
the production itself is not bad. It's the
not.
decision to not fill gaps with commercial breaks or previews for fights or ads. Instead, it's just like zoomed out on the cage. There's definitely some higher up decisions that I feel like aren't being made well. Like, it's not terrible production. The quality is good. The cage is nice. The venues always look really nice. It's not that. It's like, it's the little things that set apart an elite sports promotion like the UFC from other promotions, you know?
And then also being said, like, this is and I talked to someone off here. I'm not going to say his name. He doesn't probably want me to say his name. When the pay-per-view is about to start or is on, that's it. Like, I gave PFL 50 of my dollars Saturday. I paid them. I'm watching the show. That's it. Like, now I want to see the show. Imagine if we charge people to watch this show and be like, all right, guys, now on the show later is this, and this. And it's like, no, I'm watching it already. Like, I already paid. I just want to see the show. Right. And then the thing that the UFC does the best over everything, like, they at UFC 307, the Alex Pereira card, they talked about, hey guys, you cannot wait. You can't miss 308. We got Max and Ilya, by the way. Then, by the way, hey, we got UFC Paris too next week. Make that. Then we come back. We watch UFC Paris. Guys, by the way, we got Max and Ilya. We're closer now. We got 3 weeks. Then we had UFC Vegas 98, the show that Grant Dawson made, the world wanted to see. So that was awesome. We watched Grant. But guys, by the way, 2 weeks away now, Max and Ilya. You all of a sudden the PFL out of nowhere goes, guys, watch us, instead of just barely bringing us through.
Well, and it's almost like, it seems like they don't know when their shows are going to be, which they might be true, but I don't think that's the case. I think it's just a poor decision from production, because let's get Gronk on here to hype up a Fight Bananas pay-per-view. You guys want us on Patreon? Should we have a Fight Bananas OnlyFans? We need to have something.
That's only that's your thing, okay?
Yep, hang out now. It'll just be me reading Bible verses to everyone.
Dude, I'll pay for that.
Anyway, what was I gonna say?
Dude, mine this morning, Matthew, year 6. I was in the book of Matthew this morning.
Oh, nice.
Okay, my fault. Down the rabbit hole we went.
No, sorry. I was looking for this comment. It's not delivery. It's Grant Dawson. Sorry, I missed that earlier. That was hilarious.
Wait. Put that up so I can take a picture of it.
Oh. Just there you go.
Okay. All right. God, we are.
Oh
man,
but I think this is the point. They have nothing else to promote. They don't know when their shows are going to be, or they don't have enough shows to promote. So it's like, they promote them for like. It's Austin 316.
It's a wrestling thing, Elle. You wouldn't get it.
Okay. I don't get WWE wrestling references. I'm sorry.
But real quick, they have, and this is where we were like, I've been making fun of it for weeks. They have
the finals coming.
Their shows was the season to win the championship. You have Dakota Ditcheva and other fighters that I don't know are fighting on this card for a championship. They never talked about it.
We don't know when it is.
I do, but like, that's just because I live this. Like,
right, same. But the public doesn't know. The public doesn't know when.
The consumer.
I'm sorry, we're both talking at the same time.
I'm sorry. Imagine on that night, the biggest night, the PFL super fight with Francis Ngannou. They should have had hey guys, November 29th, our championship, biggest night of the year, starring Dakota Ditcheva. Have a good night. Like, that's your time.
Or have the finalists come to the show. The UFC does that a lot.
Yeah.
If they feel like somebody's going to be matched, like somebody's going to win, let's get the next person in line there at the show. And sometimes they'll even have them in the cage together. Like, We've seen it happen.
How about they had Sean Strickland and Dricus du Plessis in the crowd sitting next to each other, and then they fought. And then I'm like, I can't wait for this fight to happen. I got to buy it. I got to buy this card.
Yeah, Michelle Montague. Fantastic prospect. Super marketable. Adorable. Amazing accent. Speaks well. Like, they have so much talent on this roster. There's no promotion for it. And I don't get it because they have all the tools. They really do. They have all the tools. Damn.
We don't talk BKFC here. I'm sorry. We don't. But just crazy. Absolutely crazy. All right. I think we shat on the PFL for 10, 15 minutes. So let's talk one good thing. I do want to give UFC Vegas 99 some time before G gets on. And then, we have UFC 308, Cam Bennett, Island fight. So much to get into. We can talk for hours. That's what we do. Positive. How good was Johnny Eblin? How good was Francis Ngannou? You ready for this one? I'm not the biggest fan of her, but I thought Cyborg was amazing this past Saturday. Won a great fight. Like, you got to give respect where respect is due. Where are you on those 3-4 fighters?
No, like that. Like I was saying earlier, they have such a fantastic roster. Like, I just think we need to see more promotion with them. Like, if I were the PFL, I would be putting out so many highlight reels this week. Like, there would just be so much. I'd be doing so much stuff with Cyborg. She's such a legend of the sport. And I think the problem is they haven't spent enough time promoting the rest of the people on their roster. So now there's no follow-up matchup.
Yeah.
If they had been focusing and building, like, maybe they don't have anybody who can beat Cyborg right now. That is definitely a possibility. But that doesn't mean you can't promote people like they can beat Cyborg.
Why can't a younger Kayla Harrison's best friend coming for blood, the rivalry that we never saw? She's younger than Kayla. She's better than Kayla. All this stuff. Like, they could have promoted it as, Rocky Balboa's teammate about to fight Cyborg. And
they did the same thing with Francis. Like, who's next? Excuse me, I'm about to sneeze.
Bless you.
Thank you. No, like 100%. They did the exact same thing. Like, there's just nobody that's next. Even at middleweight, like, who's next for Johnny? Like, are we just gonna go back to like, let's do another crossover? Because the only person they promoted enough to make sense is Impa. Like, and they had a close-ish fight, so it's like so is everything just a rematch? Like,
and isn't Impa fighting for the light heavyweight PFL $1 million?
What's up?
Isn't Impa fighting for the light heavyweight $1 million championship?
After that, like, if he wins that fight, he's the next or the most sensical matchup for Johnny after that, or Dovlet if Dovlet can make 185. But then you have a guy who doesn't speak a lot of English, who you also haven't promoted, who is very funny. Like, I don't know if you guys have watched Dovlet interview, but very even funny. Though his English is broken, he's super funny. He's very personable. He's a great, like the UFC did such a fantastic job with Khabib, even while he barely spoke English. Like, he had these killer one-liners, and the UFC put those out everywhere. Like, you can build a guy like that, like they have these options.
Alex Pereira, the biggest superstar in all of mixed martial arts, does not speak English.
Yeah.
He's literally, he could sell out any arena in America right now. Sell it out. He can even fight the number 8 guy. It doesn't even matter. It's not even about his opponent. He can fight anyone.
And the UFC has done such a good job diversifying their content. Like a Nina Drama. Like, she's awesome because, like, she didn't come up in the sport. She's not really an analyst. She's simply a personality that's fun, and she has all the trends and stuff, like something like that. Like, they have the talent and they have the roster to be able to do similar stuff, like they do.
I agree.
We need to stop crapping on PFL.
All right, here we go.
We love going to PFL, guys. We do.
If we ever get invited back.
We might not. We might be.
Great question, Christian. We love your appreciation. Dude, I got to send this man a hat. We got 2 hurricanes back to back. I didn't send it to him. Christian,
I'll get on it, Christian. I'll get on it, man. I got you.
Thank you. Text me. If Taporia knocks out Max Holloway, is he the fighter of the year or Alex Poatan?
It's hard because everybody was so butthurt that Alex was fighting so far back in the rankings against Khalil Roundtree. So Ilya knocks out the 2 best featherweights in the last. These were the 2 best guys for how many years? What, 5 years? These were the 2 best guys. I'm gonna be exaggerating a little, but it's
no exaggeration. You're spot on.
They were the 2 best guys. Nobody else could beat them
spot on
except each other, right? And he puts both of them away. I don't want to take anything away from Alex because Alex is a company man. Man, he comes out, he fights with injuries, he fights on short notice, and he's probably the only champ we've seen willing to defend his belt on short notice to save 2 cards now. Like he's phenomenal at that, and I don't want to take anything away from him, but man, the depth of the featherweight division, and on top of that, just the depth of those 2 guys alone is huge. So I'm torn. I'm torn on that.
Elle, you're amazing. You are the smartest person I know. That is absolutely wrong. Cindy Crawford, if you're the second prettiest, what do they call a runway model, like a supermodel? That's an amazing thing. Like Ilia Topuria would be the second best UFC fighter of the year. Incredible. Guys,
but he doesn't win the prize.
Poatan defended his title, he 3 fights, 3 knockout wins, and not that, it's how he did it, Elle. He saved UFC 300. He was the main event of the biggest card ever. He was main evented over Max Holloway, right? He was the main event. Then Conor McGregor was finally going to fight. He did it. Conor will never fight for the UFC. So he stepped up and fight another guy in Yuri. Like, just that alone. And
I can't take anything away from that. No, dude, I agree.
It's Poatan. Ilya could do a George Masvidal 4-second knee knockout, and he doesn't get it over Poatan. He doesn't.
You're probably right. No, you're probably right. It would be incredible. Like, that's such an incredible accomplishment because Max is just that guy. Like,
I would say this, and I think this is totally different. If Ilya, just say if he does knock out Max Holloway to win, that is the that's the back-to-back best wins in company history. Like you said, featherweight, you can argue top 3 weight class in the history of the sport. Volk and Max have been the number 1 guy for the last 5 years. Some even argue Max is the greatest. Some people think Volk is the greatest featherweight ever. Ilya just knocked out both of them. That's the 2 best wins you can get. But I think not even the 2 to the 3 is huge to me. Poatan having another win, but it's not even just that. It's how. Like, he saved us, guys. We're about to get Juliana Pena versus Rocky Pennington as the main event. Alex,
they were so upset, guys. Upset.
He saved us.
No, you're right. No, like that. What he's done for the promotion and for the fan base.
Yes,
like, you can't.
He saved us.
Yes. He's MMA Jesus. Okay.
Thank you.
We gotta give him props, okay?
In our Bible that we both read this morning, we kept flipping. I was in Matthew,
just looking for Alex Banana,
and then it was Poatan. It was like, okay, I read about Poatan, and it was the year 2024. That's what it's in the Bible.
Oh God! Please don't smite Dave right now.
What's up with Umar going to fight O'Malley getting his rematch?
No, O'Malley, the rematch supposedly is in the works because Umar is set to fight Song. So, and I don't know why he'd do that for any other reason other than they're going to do O'Malley versus Merab again, which I don't think they should do.
Dude, Sean Sterling's the best commenter ever. I love Sean. Sean's the man.
It's the newest testament.
I picture my Jesus as a UFC. Good one, Mike. O'Malley wants to rematch in Miami. Miami's not in March. It's April 12th. I already gave you the gossip last week, people. It's not in March. It's in April. All right. My 2 cents on that is, and dude, I like Sugar, and I know he's the big name. And I know he beat Cheeto. Like, I don't think that's a automatic rematch. And how he lost to Merab. And I know it's not the company money thing. I think it should be Merab and Umar. I really do. I think Merab and Umar should be the title fight right now.
No, it should. I wanted them to do Umar and Marab so we could get Sandhagen and O'Malley.
Yeah.
That's the fight to make, in my opinion. Like,
then winner fights winner.
Yeah, 100%.
And honestly, I'm
Unless
okay
it was
with loser
Umar
fights
and Corey.
loser.
You literally just saw that. That would be unfortunate.
Say again?
I said unless it was Umar and Corey both won, because then we get the exact same fight we just got. One fight ago.
That's what happens. Like, that's life. And if Sandhagen beats Sugar, like, I think he gets the title shot.
We forgot about a fight. Jan and Figgy. Oh, great fight.
Yeah.
That could be a title contender fight too. Come on.
Over O'Malley and Corey?
I mean, either could. I think it depends who wins each matchup, because we just saw Umar and Corey. I would much rather see Umar and Jan. Ooh, that'd be fun. Or Umar and Figgy. And Figgy's been smashing some people.
Dude, he at bantamweight he's amazing.
And Piotr Jan is one of those guys that has had, like, he had one of the best losing streaks. That's so weird to say it that way, but he had one of the best losing streaks in UFC history. Like, we saw him be so dominant, and then he had super close losses to some of the best guys in the division. Like, where I feel like on one other night, he could have been the winner of a close fight. You know, he's still such a contender in that division, like, losing streak or not.
I sent Gillian the wrong link, guys. My fault. She's not a minute late. It's my
I was gonna say she's never late.
I know. Dude. I was wrong on links and stuff. So it's on me. It's totally on me. So, guys, I take the blame. I gave the wrong link out there to the world. So our next guest, the Savage One, fights in 2.5 weeks. Elf, can you believe she's fighting in a couple weeks? It's happening. Gillian the Savage Robertson's back on Fight Bananas. Cannot wait. G, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. Like you just said, we're 2.5 weeks out. Could be better, right?
It's close.
I'm so excited. Honestly, like that's just been the vibe this week. Even yesterday, I was talking to my sports psychologist, and I just feel like I couldn't stop saying, like, I'm just excited. I'm just excited. I'm just so excited. I honestly just can't wait to fight. Like, I get to fight in 2.5 weeks.
Let's go.
I apologize for this.
Enjoy it all. I don't really get too bad at, like, watching people eat stuff. I always order my boyfriend cookies and things like that.
And you're like, take a bite of the cookie now.
Yeah, well, so like my favorite places is either Night Owl or the Salty Donut. And they have like donuts or cookies that come in like in season. So they're only going to be here for like a couple weeks. So if he doesn't try them, I'll never know how they taste. So I need somebody to let me know how they taste. Exactly. So he's my victim in that case.
What a good man. What a good man.
Exactly. Force him to eat all the sweets.
Yes.
Grant will like smell my pizza. He's like, oh, now take a bite. And he'll just watch me eat it. I'm like, are you okay over there?
It's so funny when you're actually like, right now my body like needs food. Like I'm going meal to meal. Whenever I'm eating, it's like I feel like I need it. And when it's like that, food just tastes so much better.
Oh yeah. Like then plain chicken and rice is like.
Exactly. I'm sitting there, I'm eating it, and I can't stop myself being like, and just eating plain things.
I don't know if you were here last time when I think it was just Elle and Maddie. They think they're going to tape me. I'm going to do a weight cut, and they're going to tape me and do a certain thing, and I have to make the weight. And
that'll be on the Fight Bananas OnlyFans, guys.
Yeah,
we have to sit through the OnlyFans.
It's going to be pictures of Elle's dump truck, me cutting weight, and us reading the Bible. That's going to be us.
It's literally just going to be a plastic dump truck. It's going to be me like playing.
All right. So there's so much I want to talk to G about and us about. One, we really just hammered the PFL for the last 15 minutes. But G, if you got something on that, we can give you that one. But before we do that, real quick, I talked about before both of you guys came on, and I think both of you guys know me really well about how positive I usually am about us and MMA and everything. but there was a female fight on UFC Vegas 99. And after watching this fight, both of these ladies should be cut from the roster. How is Edwards and Vidal in the UFC? How is this fight happening? Edwards missed weight again. She's like not interested or fun to watch. Am I off on this, guys? It's like you're lowering ourselves of having these two girls on the roster.
I will say, to be fair to Edwards, I thought this was the best she's ever looked.
Which is not, yeah.
Well, I was impressed from her past performances. I've just like been very underwhelmed. And this one I was like, Edwards is actually showing up more than she ever has in her past fights. Of course she didn't make weight, but I'm like, I feel like that was probably one of her better performances.
I won't disagree with that. But yeah, Dave, you know what's crazy to me is last week, or the week before last, sorry, they cut Corey McKenna, who is really young, really talented, and was only on like a 1 or 2 fight losing streak.
Yeah.
Like, and has never lost more than 2 in a row.
And that was a good fight. Like, she wasn't dominated. It was a close fight. She lost. Everyone takes a loss. Islam Makhachev got knocked out. We all take losses. And yeah, they cut her.
Yeah, as soon as I saw that, I went and I Googled her record, Googled her. I was like, how is that even possible?
I thought she was doing really well.
She
was
was
just seen her at the
3-3.
PI.
So it's like she even had like a neutral record. She didn't even have a losing record. She was 3-3. I was confused by that one.
Yeah.
The only thing I would say, and we all both know this, there's a ton of stuff behind the scenes and, you know, politics or work. But
for sure.
If I
She's
say this,
sweet-heart though. That's one of the nicest people I've ever met.
I've talked to Corey 4 times. She's super nice. So like, how can she's not going to be nice to us at Fight Bananas or each other and be pissy to the UFC?
Right.
Like, it doesn't make sense.
It was bizarre.
That doesn't make sense at all.
I would agree with your statement, Dave. If they're going to cut somebody like her,
those girls
probably, at least Vidal probably needs to go off the
They
lot.
were so bad. And this is like the 3rd time she missed weight. Like I just, they don't need to, like, I'm trying to say this the nicest way possible. The UFC roster is so big and so good. There's so many good fighters. And we say this all the time. Like, I feel like sometimes good fighters need to wait a week because there's only so many slots on a card. These 2 ladies are taking up spots. They're
devil's advocate. There are a ton of fighters on the roster, but very few of them are female bantamweights. So that division is not loaded.
Got to bring in the 05ers.
It's happening. You hear Dana talk about it finally?
It's not the first time he said that.
But I see momentum.
He's been saying that for years. I'll believe it when I see it.
I think it's time though. Honestly,
I agree.
There's so many girls that I know now that are 105ers that are just like, yeah, but I have nowhere to go really. You know, like the UFC isn't open and it's like there's Invicta, 1FC. Like there's not a lot of big organizations and
one isn't even really atom weight because they get 10 extra pounds. So a lot of those girls
15.
Yeah.
Other than Kayla at bantamweight, do you think any of those? You think Juliana can make flyweight?
No.
I don't know. I've never seen her in person. I don't know how big
dense.
She is.
She looks dense, like because she's not like the leanest. She's not like as shredded as Kayla, but she's definitely like dense. You can tell she is
thick.
She's not flabby, you know?
I definitely thought that with Misha Tate too, though, and she's made 25. So like I would say they're similar sizes in my mind.
When did Misha make flyweight though? I'm trying to think.
I think it was after her pregnancies even. It might have been before.
That happens to a lot of girls. Mackenzie Dern had trouble making weight before her pregnancy, and after she's looked in incredible shape. So it definitely happens, you know. Let's see. 20-9. That's a good record.
Who is?
Misha Tate.
Yeah.
She fought Jessica.
Misha gets like a bad rap in a way. I like who she fought to, like, and then she always lost to Ronda. Like, who didn't lose to Ronda back in the day? Like, dude, Misha had a great run. Really good run.
I just remember I got to grapple with Misha twice when I was in the Tough House. First time I grappled with her, she guillotined me. And I was like, that was slick. Can you show me how to do that? She showed me how to do it. Second time I grappled with her, got the same guillotine on me again.
Hate that. Love it, but hate it.
Exactly. I'm like, damn it, I saw it, I knew it, and it still happened.
Am I crazy? When did she make 25?
She did, didn't she?
I didn't. Oh, that's right. She fought Lauren Murphy. So
That's
she
what I
made it one
thought.
time.
I
And
was
she
gonna
did
say
make
Lauren
weight.
Murphy.
She also didn't look great, though, in that fight. So I do wonder if it took a bit
Did
out
she
of
win
her.
or lose?
She lost to Lauren Murphy, and then she went back up to fight Julia Avila for her last fight.
Huh.
So I wonder. She didn't look great at 25. Like I
Yeah.
definitely think there's girls who can make it, but will struggle to compete because
For sure.
that weight cut is a lot tougher on us ladies than some of the dudes. Not all of us can be Jose Aldo and just look
Insane.
ridiculously amazing at every weight class.
What a legend. All right. Before we get to UFC 308, and I know Gillian wants to talk about UFC 308. This past weekend, we kind of, like I said, we already shat on the PFL. Is there anything from the PFL or, of course, UFC Vegas 99 that jumped at you in a good way? Fluffy Hernandez looked amazing. Charles Johnson looked awesome. That fight was great.
Yeah.
Brad Katona, Johnny Eblin wins again. What kind of popped at you this weekend?
You guys actually asked me last weekend if I would buy the PFL, and I was like, yeah, I think I would. And then I realized that there's a UFC fight night on at the same time, and I was
Didn't
like,
do it.
I'll go that way. So I didn't watch the PFL. I watched the UFC, and like you guys said, I think the most spectacular performance of the night was the main event. Anthony Hernandez just looked amazing, just
He's
so
constant
underrated.
pressure flowing. It was beautiful to watch.
He's a very underrated guy in that division. I'm very interested to see him get a tougher, like to start working up the rankings.
Oh yeah, no, I was thoroughly impressed by that fight, and yeah, I think that was the one that I gotta say, no matter what, can't read
is
that
that?
there.
Yeah, I can't. Did you bet? Did
Bet
Dave
on Anthony Hernandez. It was like the most locked thing ever. Am I right? Like, I've been learning this from you guys. Like, and I talked to so many people. They just said it was the best, like matchup. Like Pereira, like Michelle is like good but flashy, and Anthony's like
gets tired.
Yeah, exactly. He gets tired. Fluffy's the opposite of that. He's like, I'm gonna track you down, run you down. It was just one of those, like, it was the best matchup. And so, yeah, maybe I had a little wager on Fluffy. Maybe.
I was gonna say the other fight that I think I can't help but love is Darren Elkins. Love to watch him fight every single time.
I forgot he was still fighting, and then I saw him on this card. I was like, oh, there you are.
Every single time, it's an entertaining fight. It's a great fight.
He's one of those guys, if you can't, like, you get tired beating his ass, and he just comes back from the dead. I feel
It's
like
amazing
he's
how
unfinishable.
He just constantly, he's like out of bad positions, just working constantly. And it's like, it really is something that's just so difficult to deal with.
Oh, it's got to be disheartening too. Like, it's like, why won't you go away?
Exactly.
Right. Good question by Sean Sterling, but I'm not going to lie. I think me and Elle, we talked about this beforehand. Kyler Phillips versus Rob Font. Rob Font was a big underdog. I thought Phillips was going to win that fight too. Like, I thought he looked phenomenal over the last year, 2 years. I was on the side of Phillips. I was impressed with Rob Font. Great third round. Really good.
Phillips looked like he lost a lot of gas too. I'm not sure if he like expected to be able to get him out of there earlier or exactly what, because I didn't look like he was expending too much energy early in the fight, but he just didn't. He usually has a pretty good pace, and he didn't seem to be able to keep that, which I will say Font did a much better job getting up off his back.
Yes.
And holding and being able to hold somebody down, like when they're not trying to get up, it's way less energy expended than when you have to keep mat returning them and keep shooting. So I props to him for the get up. The get up looked phenomenal, and his boxing always looks great.
I was gonna say, every time I watch Rob Font, I don't think I'm more impressed with anybody than just the clean punches, clean 1-2s. I don't think anybody in the game does it better.
Such a sharp jab.
Exactly.
I know maybe, I know it's different weight classes, but still on the female side. And I got to ask you this question. I know you said you didn't see it or watch it live, but Chris Cyborg wins again, another younger champion. She's been in 5 major organizations. She's won the championship in every organization she's went to. Like I said off air, like I've never talked to her. Like, I don't have a relationship at all with Cyborg. huge Kayla person. I like Amanda. Like, I like all these other girls way more. But like, I got to give her the respect of her just keep on winning and winning. She's been around forever. Like, what's your thoughts on Cyborg winning that fight?
Oh yeah, I've never been able to take that away from her. I feel like people always are like, I don't know, touchy on the Cyborg subject. I think she's one of the greatest female bantamweights. The only person I would put over her is Amanda. And obviously, like, they settled it in the cage. I think that's like,
well, she's never made 35, right?
Or 45.
Right? I was gonna say,
yeah, 45.
I don't think she could make 45. Probably not.
I don't think she's ever made 35.
So G, you just said something so like it's like a polarizing point or topic. If you think so they fought, Amanda and Cyborg fought, but everything else that Cyborg has done, everything in Amanda, and I know that's probably a bad analogy because Amanda's done, of course, all the same as Cyborg, maybe even more. Like, I agree, Amanda's the greatest I've ever seen. But my point maybe more that Max Holloway to Volkanovski. Like, just because the one person like Volkanovski owns Holloway, but everything else that Holloway's done as a featherweight, can you never get over that person in a like better list because you lost to that person? Does that make sense? Because what I'm getting at is Max losing a Volk and Cyborg losing Amanda. Can they ever get above that person ever in a best list?
I think Max might have an opportunity too, just because he still has so much longer left in his career.
Okay.
It's like Cyborg, I feel like she's kind of at the end of her career. It's like
Sure.
She isn't going to grow. Even when she fought Amanda, it was a couple of years ago. It wasn't like she's kind of been this. You get to a certain level, and I feel like you don't really see people like making huge leaps in games at that point. She kind of was already at her best, and like she's made some improvements since then, but it's not like we've seen a completely different fighter. So I feel like you kind of got the best Cyborg versus the best Amanda, and Amanda was just levels and levels above. She just completely outclassed her when it came down to it, where it's like Max still has years and years ahead. I always forget like how young Max is.
I know, it's crazy. Crazy.
He's just been around for so long, but it's like Max has a lot of time in the game to still really solidify his name. I feel like maybe further than Volk.
He also had much closer fights with Volk than Cyborg had with Amanda. So
yeah, that as well. And like I said, it was just two different levels when you saw Cyborg versus Amanda.
Such a good point. And like back to the Holloway and being young thing, and I know we're getting there. We're almost there, guys. UFC 308, 5 days away. He's still so damn young and he's training much different. And I think if Max does that, hey guys, I'm going to fight once a year, maybe 2 times if it's like March, and then what he's doing now, like November, October, like if he can do kind of the bullet points of the end of the year. And if he kind of trains better, like, dude, we can have like 9 more epic Max Holloway fights. Like we really could have another 4 or 5 years of Max Holloway if he fights Dustin again, Volk again, whoever's the next, featherweight. We really can have a lot of Holloway fights left.
That's true.
Oh yeah, no, I'm like I said, it with someone like him, he's someone I always, whenever his age comes up on the screen, I'm like, holy shit, he's that young.
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild. All right, let's get into it. UFC 308. Let's hit one fight before that big main event. Chimaev and Robert Whittaker, everyone's favorite fighter. Where are you guys on this? I think we finally made it. We're here fight week. I don't want to knock on wood, but I think these guys are.
I think he's fighting. I think he's fighting.
I think he's
that
here.
was going to be my question. I was going to be like, does it happen?
Yes, it's happening. It's happening.
I saw so many funny memes. It was like when Chimaev realizes he only has 7 days to pull out of UFC 308, and it's like,
yeah.
Like, I think it's happening.
Have you seen him? He looks different. Like, have you seen Chimaev this week?
No, I haven't seen
a little.
Or anything.
He looks different. Like, I can't put my finger on it. Like, we've all been in different relationships or different gyms or whatever. He looks like toned down.
Come right back, Dave. I'm so sorry. I'll be right back.
No, you're good. Like, Chimaev just looks like he's in a good headspot, G.
Yeah, I haven't really seen anything of him this week, but I don't like with him. It's just are we gonna get him? That's really the thing, and it's like I don't know. I also feel like he hasn't necessarily proved himself again. Like there's been like flukes around everything. Every big fight that he's had a fluke around it, a fluke around it. So it's like, this is the first. Robert Whitaker's had a full camp and able to prepare for him. He's had a full camp and able to prepare. So I think this is really like the true like Chimaev. Like we'll get to see like, is he at that level?
Totally agree. And this fight was announced. You know me, I'm a big Robert Whitaker guy. Love his style, love his personality. I even like the matchup and all that stuff. And everyone thinks he's going to win in the later rounds. And the closer it gets to it, I foresee the Dricus du Plessis to Whitaker. Like, I think Chimaev is a little bit like that. Very fast, very quick, kind of smothering, especially at the beginning. And that's what Dricus did to Robert Whitaker. Like, he dominated them for 7 minutes and the fight was over. Like, I thought I had Whitaker. I'm starting to lean a little bit towards Chimaev.
I think I'm still leaning towards Whitaker on this one.
Okay.
But I'm not counting Chimaev out. Like I still think like he gave Gilbert a war, and I think it was short notice for Gilbert, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah. So
I think so. That was Jacksonville. Who was he supposed to fight? I don't know. Yeah.
I just remember every single fight that it's like, yeah, he fought this guy, but
yeah.
So even like he gave Gilbert a good fight though, and showed the technique he's capable of, and I think he will be able to hang in there with Robert just fine. But I do think Robert's going to be able to get the edge over him.
Yeah, like I said, this comment. You're mute.
Especially over 5 rounds. That's what I was going to say. I don't know if you guys were already talking about that.
Yeah, that's where we were at. So I don't know if you saw that comment. Hey, I'm telling you, he's that new guy. He looks leaner, and not even that. Like, he just looks more reserved. Like, he just looks. I know people that they get married or they have a kid and like they change, like they're whatever, and he looks in a better spot. We'll see on weigh-in day if he's crazy or whatever, but he looks like in a better spot.
My beef, and this is something Grant pointed out to me the other day. If you go through his page, every time he posts a sparring round, he's always posting. It's always some like out of shape guy that nobody's heard of, or somebody way smaller than him. I don't know. I wonder. I guess I wonder who his camp is. I wonder who his training partner is. Sure. Who's pushing him at the level that a guy like Robert Whitaker is going to be pushing him. That's my one question mark for Chimaev.
I totally concur, and the thing I said just to G right before you got back on, I was on Whitaker the whole time. I just switched over. I think Chimaev's going to win. I see Chimaev doing what Dricus du Plessis did to Whitaker, and that's what Chimaev can do. Like, blitz him very fast, very quick, smother in 6 minutes, fight over. So I don't know.
You think so? Oh, you think he'll finish him? So you feel like he won't need the cardio?
Correct.
That Dricus has.
Yeah,
Dricus has the pace, though, that he's not afraid to get tired either. So he knows he can push that pace. Sure. And I do wonder if Chimaev will be like more measured because he's afraid of getting tired over 5 rounds.
Yeah, no, very true. Very true. All right. We finally made it. G's been on for 20 minutes. She's like, can we just talk about Max Holloway? And
no, I don't want to talk about it.
You don't want to talk about it?
Oh, no, because I'm like, I love Max, but I don't think it's going to go that way. So, no, I don't want to talk about it.
Oh, so you got Ilya.
I think it's a close fight.
I do think it's a close fight. Like, honest, Max is like top for me. I'm like, I love him more than anything. Like, huge fangirl. I don't want to see him lose. And that's why I'm like, I do think Ilya is so talented everywhere, though. His boxing, his wrestling, his jiu-jitsu, just all around. I don't know if there is anybody more well-rounded than him, you know? Wow. He really is just he is so talented, and it's going to be a rough fight to watch.
And I think go ahead, Dave.
Just real quick, and I think you'll like this. I am the biggest Gillian and Grant Dawson fan ever. They're my absolute 2 favorites in the world. Right behind them is right behind them is Dustin Poirier. I love me some Dustin. You know this, L. And then I started like looking through Max Holloway, and I'm like, guys, I love G. I love Grant. But if there's one fighter I'm going to watch on this world, it's Max Holloway. Like, his like resume is the best resume, I think, in UFC history. Like, who he fights, how he fights him. I think everyone forgets how goddamn good that fight was with Yair Rodriguez. That was the most insane fight ever. The domination of Calvin Kattar. Even the loss to Poirier was insane. Arnold Allen. Like, there's so many. All the Volk fights. The champ. How he dominated Jose Aldo in his prime. Like,
Yeah.
dude, he is so good.
There's two asterisks. One, have you seen how Max is looking through the weight cut? So he's looking a little rough. He's looking like he's
I
looking
feel
a
like
little
that's
sunk in
typical
already.
for Max, though.
That's typical. However, he already has tough weight cuts to 145. And the first time we saw him fight at lightweight against Dustin, he did not look like a lightweight. He still looked much smaller.
Oh, so
This last time when we saw him fight Gaethje, he
Yeah.
looked massive.
Yeah.
He looked like a real lightweight. So is that weight cut even harder than it usually is? Because he's a big dude for 145. So is the weight cut even harder than it already is? Do we get like I am all about Max has never been dropped. Like that's always my selling point on every Max Holloway fight ever. Ilya's boxing is so good. It's so good. And the way Volk beat Max, he didn't have better boxing than Max, but he mixed everything up so well. And I feel like Ilya can do that too, but he also has really good boxing. So I'm scared for Max. I think it's a very close fight. I'm not picking a winner. I refuse.
Both of you guys are saying Ilya. Both of you.
I said it's a close fight. I said I'm not picking a winner.
I'm watching like this.
Oh my God.
But here's the thing. I think if he can't put Max away, I do think it'll be hard for him to win a decision. I don't know. He can win a decision, but I feel like if he doesn't knock out Max, which is very difficult. Nobody's ever done it.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't, I think it's hard. Max is a really hard guy to outwork over 5 rounds, especially if it's a boxing match. Like if they're trading just boxing and Ilya isn't able to incorporate as much wrestling. But man, yeah.
The one time I'm going all in on Max Holloway, I get this from both of you.
I'm torn. I am right split down the middle in this fight. I'm Switzerland.
So,
I'm siding Ilya, but I would want to see Max win more than anything. Like that would make my night if Max won.
I think I'm really the same as G. I just don't want to admit it. So.
With that being said, El, like you're saying how Topuria is going to win and how can Max beat Ilya?
I think if Ilya is unable to set up the wrestling and it strictly plays out on the feet, Max has some of the best boxing in the UFC. He really does. He's not as powerful as Ilya though.
Right.
But if he can stay at the end, and that's the problem is I feel like this would almost have to be a gun-shy Ilya for Max to win this fight.
So you're saying like Max is going to kind of like jab him and just kind of stick it out.
Or maybe he carries a little more power this time because he put on some muscle when he was trying to get up to lightweight. Like maybe because he looked like he was hitting Gaethje way harder than we normally see him hit guys. Like, so maybe there's something there. I don't know. It's really hard for me to see Max's victory unless it's just a really close split decision. I could see that maybe.
You ready for this? This is my one thing on Max, and Dana White said it about Alex. So everyone thought all of a sudden Roundtree was winning that fight, and all of a sudden they fought like Alex just took over. Alex took over by calf kicks. Like that's what started everything. And even Dana's like, dude, people don't realize he started calf kicking him for multiple rounds, got a couple bad ones, and then all of a sudden Roundtree just couldn't move anymore. He was dead set cement, and then that's when Alex took over. I think Max can calf kick the crap out of Ilya. Because to me, Ilya, like you said, the boxing base, he's so strong in it. And I've seen it. I think it was not the Jai Herbert fight. Maybe it was the Jai Herbert fight. I saw Ilya get kicked in the calf a couple times. And I think if Max Holloway's doing that, multiple rounds, all of a sudden the 4th round, Ilya's just stuck.
Does he really? I'm trying to think if he really.
That's what I'm like, is that really a tool of Max's?
He calf kicks fast, but he doesn't calf kick like Pereira. I think Pereira has a very special calf kick.
Yeah.
And with Ilya, you also have to worry about the timing of these big overhands. And that's something when you throw a low kicks, like that's a way guys counter. They'll eat the calf and still come over top. I don't know. He does kick quickly to the calf, but
yeah,
he doesn't really kick as much as he used to either though. So I don't know if that's a choice or what exactly, but
no one does after seeing Chris Weidman. No one kicks like that anymore.
Right? No, I'm terrified.
One last thing for G, and then we're going to bring in our last person because G has, I think, called his fight, and he's becoming a pro fighter this weekend, G. So shout out to our guy coming on, Cam Bennett coming on. last thing, G, we're 2.5 weeks away from the fight. Maybe this is the last time talking to you. We might talk to you one more time, maybe a little 308 kind of recap in your last little talk, and then we get close to that fight time. How's everything? How are you? It seems like you said you said the word excited 8 times. Like we're almost there. We're almost to fight night.
Yeah, I think I'm a little bit excited.
Okay.
I know I feel great. I feel more than ready. I feel like everything's just coming together. Last week Dean texted me. He's like, I don't think there's anything else we can work on. It's just keeping consistency, and that's
Yeah.
how I feel like it's been. Like I feel ready. If I fought tomorrow, I feel ready to take it on. It's just about being consistent over these next couple weeks, and just it's just been really an ideal camp, and the weight's good, and everything's just on point, and I can't wait to perform.
I love it. I love it. Well, I hope you know I've been putting in all the work too. This is 0 sugar in my Dunkin' Donuts coffee. So we're on the team. I want our record to keep on going. But like I said, real quick, nice comment. They say, good luck in your fight, Jillian. You sound locked in. Let's get the 4th person. I really do believe Jillian and I called one of his fights when he's an amateur. He's becoming a professional this Friday night at Island Fights 85. Cam Bennett to the Fight Banana Show. What's up, Cam?
What's up, guys? How are you?
Doing good, brother. How are you, man?
What's up?
Doing great. Doing great. Feeling phenomenal right now.
There you go. Turning into a professional fighter. Jillian's got records in the UFC. Is there anything that you can share wisdom on Cam, G?
You've done it multiple times before. You know what to do. It's the same stage. It's like, it doesn't matter I guess, surroundings. It doesn't matter if it's amateur, pro, UFC, anything. It's the same thing. Just go out and have fun.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, that's been my mindset the whole time getting ready for this fight. It's been kind of weird, I will say, just like this idea of we changed one word and one term, going from amateur to pro. But and I mean, yeah, it's 5-minute rounds now. Yeah, there's elbows, all that stuff, and there's a check on the line. But outside of that, I've fought 13 times already. You know, like nothing's changing. Like I'm going in there and I'm trying to cause damage the whole time. It just so happens to be a check sitting there waiting for me afterwards, which is cool. And I get more time to work, if anything. I get more time to actually do what I want to do. But that's exactly what Gillian said is just I can feel the hype from everybody else. Like definitely you changed from amateur to pro, and it's definitely hyped up a lot of things. But in my brain, I'm just like, this is just what I've been doing for 13 times. We're just now official, I guess, is the best way to put it. But I mean, every fight should be working towards your ultimate goal. And the ultimate goal isn't just taking one like pro fight or making it to the highest rank of Island Fights or LFA or anything like that. The ultimate goal is the UFC. The ultimate goal is to be ranked. The ultimate goal is to be a champ one day. And if that's not it, then what are we doing? What's your mindset, you know? So yeah, I mean, the pro term's there, but I'm ready to rock.
It's like when you're kind of seeing a girl in high school a couple times, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, are we putting a label on this thing? Are we really official now? That's what it's like. Talking about that, G, you're the best. You are the official, Fight Bananas favorite. We'll see you hopefully next week to recap Max Holloway's championship win, and we'll be 1 week closer to your fight. And we'll talk to you soon, G.
I'll see you guys.
Yeah, Gillian Robertson, the best in the biz, the best. All right, Cam, we're giving you all the spotlight, my man. No more sharing it. Dude, I'm so pumped. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to be in Pensacola myself. So pumped to be able to call this fight. Friday, Island Fights 85. Tickets are still on sale. You can watch it on the Island Fights YouTube channel. But like you said, so like nothing, same old, same, just kind of back to what you do, back that arena. That's I did think about it. For you to turn pro in that kind of same venue, same arena, that is, I think, an added plus for you. You've done that walk 9 times in that big arena. Some pros would be like, holy crap, this is pretty massive. But I think you're, you should feel at home.
Yeah, I mean, I'm making my debut at home. I mean, I'm from here. So I'm used to a larger crowd anyways because of that. I'm used to the Civic Center. My first ever fight was in the Civic Center. That was my first walk, was in the Bay Center. So I've had that experience. And then also comparative to some people, like I feel like I've produced a lot of hype throughout my amateur career. I main evented Island Fights multiple times, co-main, put on a lot of high level fights for Island Fights. So that attention and that pressure has kind of always been there, I guess, a little bit. I feel like a lot of people have always felt like I have the potential to do some very big things in the sport, especially being so young. But it's another day. I mean, practice never changed just because I said, oh yeah, I'm turning pro now. Like, practice was the same. I went in and worked hard just as I would work hard for an amateur fight. I did the same exact things. I hit my strength and conditioning. I did my running. I ate the meals that I was supposed to eat. I drank my water. Like, I did everything that I was supposed to do just as if I was getting ready for this last fight. So yeah, the term has changed, but my mindset has always been the same. Is like, each fight is a stepping stone to your ultimate goal. Not, I mean, the moment you get complacent and you just kind of sit there and just be like, yeah, I finally made it, I've arrived, like, that's when you're going to get eaten alive by somebody.
Right. And you talk about how many times you've made this walk. Like, 13 amateur fights is something you don't see very often, to be honest. Like, a lot of people, like, they tend to kind of to rush through that. Oh, we have 5-6 amateur fights, let's go pro. We have 4 or 5 pro fights, let's go right to contender series. Can you speak a little bit about what kept you on the regional circuit and why you've made the decision to have so many amateur fights, which I think is a good strategy? And how do you feel about going into your pro career? How do you feel about how many number of fights you'd like to have before making a jump to a major promotion?
I feel like the reason why we had so many amateur fights, I mean, I can attest to this. After my 4th fight, definitely had a big offer by a big manager. And it was flattering and it's awesome. Like, I really do appreciate the offer. But at that time, I was 19 years old, 4-0. And that's cool and all. But also, what is it to somebody if you just went 4-0 or 10-0, even 10-0, and you just fought a bunch of cans? Like, you just fought a bunch of guys that kind of take it half-heartedly, or they just thought they wanted to fight and they didn't really actually want to fight. You turn pro, you make it to the UFC level, you get on the contender series, and then you just face a killer and you get your butt whooped on ESPN, and your whole family's watching. That's not what I'm trying to go out there and do, you know? Like, I'm not trying to be a can crusher and then go and then just get annihilated by
Become the can. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not trying to get annihilated by some Dagestani guy and be like, yeah, I made it to the UFC one time. Like, I had my 2 fights and just got absolutely annihilated and cut. Like, that's not what I'm trying to do. So taking those fights, and especially with my coaches, making sure we're ready. You know, I fought high-level wrestler in my 5th fight. He was a D2 All-American. Like, fought a guy that good. I've fought good strikers. I fought a brawler. I fought all these realms, and I was just, I think, in a lot of fights, just missing like one key element in each one. And then, but as you take those amateur fights, you improve each time. You show a little more high-level skill. I mean, heck, Quincy.
Yeah,
like
fight.
That
That's
dude.
great.
He's literally the number 1 155er amateur after that fight. So, you know, you fight the best of the best as an amateur. You prove that you're ready to go as a pro. Now it's like, you take your time. You don't want to rush. I mean, I'm 24 years old. We've seen a lot of athletes at the UFC level rush to that stage, get pushed a little too fast, and then their career never pans out like what it could have been. Like, one person I think about too is like Darren Till is a good example. Like, he had a lot of experience. He got to the UFC, major hype, and then his career just kind of like it just didn't pan out the way I think everybody thought it could have been.
Right.
I mean, it's still got a lot of story to be written. But I think the UFC kind of rushed him a little bit in some regards. And a lot of people, I think, would agree with that. So it's just one of those things. Like, I don't have like a set number of fights that it's like, okay, we take this many fights. Now we're in a big promotion. I'm just kind of riding the wave one fight at a time, diagnose and kind of pick apart my performance and then go from there after each one.
And I think that's a smart move, man. Like, sorry,
So smart.
just to take your tougher, like your last 5 amateur fights should be way tougher than your first few pro fights. And it sounds like you've got a good head on your shoulders, man. Like, great mindset.
Ella, I was just going to literally say that same thing. I've known Cam a long time. I've always known Cam's got a great head on his shoulders, super smart about it. But yeah, just becoming an amateur to the pro, you're still the same man, same son, same kid, same boyfriend, you're still the same great dude. I love where your mindset is going to this fight. I guess my one analyst question for you is, everything I've been hearing about your opponent is that he was the bantamweight champion in other promotions. He's moving up in weight, and you kind of flirted with that lightweight, featherweight thing. It seems like now you're kind of coming down. I would assume, air quotations, you're the bigger man in this fight. Does that, do you think of that the same way I do? What's your mindset on me thinking you will be the bigger man on fight night?
Yeah, I definitely do know. I think just looking at him frame wise, he's tall, lanky. Height wise, I think he's about my height, but just skinnier frame. But those things, like, I've taken into account, but like I'm treating this guy as like he's just an absolute killer. You got to respect everybody as an absolute killer. Doesn't matter if they're coming up a weight class, moving down a weight class. It doesn't matter. Your next opponent is your hardest opponent. And what good is all this hype behind me if I don't go out there and just show and do what I'm supposed to do? So I'm just ready to break him down technically. Strength advantage, all those things. If those things are there, great. If not, so what? Who cares? I got to get it done either way. And hopefully my skill shows that I've just been doing these things. I've been practicing doing what I need to do, cleaning up the little holes that I may have, and perform to the best of my ability. So yeah, I mean, size like is a passing thought back there in my mind, but it's not like a forefront. You know how fighters can get sometimes. They would be like, I'm the bigger guy, like he's coming up to my weight class. And sure, but we also see smaller guys go up. Like you guys talk about him, Max Holloway bumped up to fight Justin Gaethje. Who would ever saw him knocking out Gaethje? So
Figueiredo.
Yeah, Figueiredo going up and
great
just
at 35.
35ers, like, it happens. So, I mean, it's a factor, but not like a leading one in my mind.
Right.
My question is, this is your first professional weight cut. Did you add anyone to the team? Are you using the same people that kind of with other weight cuts? I know you have other people fighting close to you. I know Kayla, Gunther. Like, it's going to be hopefully a great night for Team Remedy. Did you add anyone else to the team to help you with this weight cut?
No, still working with Max Fit. I mean, the biggest change is, like, I think from past fights to this one is just like right after the fight. I mean, I had a week of like enjoying my life, enjoying food and stuff like that, but I was right back to the grind immediately. And so I don't know what really kind of triggered that. Is just maybe just this idea of this is what you say you want to do, so you got to live up to it in every aspect. Even though I do love food, food can wait, what do you want more type thing. So cleaning up things, still work with Max Fit Sports, and every time I've worked with them, the weight cut's been fine. I mean, it's going great right now. I feel like I look healthier than I did last time. Last time was a rough cut, but I still got it done. This time I think it's going smoother already.
Good.
So I'm just very excited to see what that produces on Friday night. I think it's going to produce just a version of me that people have been wanting to see and ready to see. And then it's only going to improve there. Like, it's no stopping just right here, you know. Sticking with my strength and conditioning. My girlfriend actually is my strength and conditioning coach. She has a master's in it. So, you know, she throws on that coaching hat pretty well. There's no girlfriend when it's time for me to do my lift.
Just coach.
Yeah, just coach. She'll yell at me if I don't do something correctly. But she's definitely helped, and that was an addition last time. But it definitely has shrunk my frame. Like, my frame is not as big as what it was. Definitely just building. I actually kind of look like an athlete now. I've never been intimidating to people, but now I may, and I say that loosely, may scare somebody, maybe.
Small child, maybe?
Yeah, maybe. Possibly. The kids in my kids' class are not scared, but
my boys don't watch Cam Bennett, Killer Cam Bennett YouTube highlights. They are scared. My sons are scared of Cam Bennett highlights on YouTube.
you just saying that.
Nah, dude, you're not, dude. Like, I think it's a part of a little bit of the shtick or whatever. But I'm saying this, and no one needs to promote or sell your fight. It's happening Friday regardless, right? You're an absolute killer inside those ropes. You are. I've seen it. I've called your fight 8 times. You are definitely one of the most, I think, I'm not even saying like vicious fighters. Like, you fight to damage people. Like, sometimes you can see fighters are trying to win a fight or win a contest. You're trying to do damage to your opponent. Let's just say that.
Yeah. So it's funny because, I mean, I have this whole, I mean, you see my face. Yeah. I mean,
you're live. We
build.
See you.
Yeah, you see my face. You see my build. I went to UWF. Like, I'm planning on going to PA school. I work in a PT clinic. I teach a kids class. I'm an older brother to 3 sisters. Like, I am what you would see on paper. And I've always smiled in my fight posters. You know, I'll talk to anybody after the fights. I take pictures. Like, my main following seems to be like the kids, like at the events. I mean, I'm walking out in a Spider-Man walkout t-shirt, like, for crying out loud. That
spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler alert. That in itself is not scary, but I don't know what happens when I get in there. It's just a different side. It's just like I just gotta create technical violence. Like, but I'm trying to win, but I'm also, every fight is about making a statement, especially now. It's a professional, like Dana White and all this stuff. They want the next big thing. So what's the next big thing? Somebody that can promote, somebody that's different. I'm different than a lot of people because I don't look scary. And I'm just myself, but I'm coming in there to, like, leave you with a lasting memory, whether you're a fan of, man, that guy fights exciting. And if you're an opponent, I left you with a lasting memory of, I don't want to fight that guy again.
I think a lot of guys have that in the sport. Like, we have Brandon Moreno, Justin Gaethje, Corey Sandhagen are all guys who don't look intimidating outside of their fights. And they all have really unique personalities. I think they're some of the more real guys. And something that Grant and I have been talking about a lot lately is, I think everybody is just over the trash talk. Like, it's so forced now. Like, the last, like, few genuinely iconic and funny and fun, like, trash talk fight lead ups we've had were probably Connor or Chael Sonnen. Like, it's just not. I'm not a huge fan of the way Ilya is putting out all the trash talk now. It seems very forced to me. So I think that fighters that go about it the way you're talking about, I think they tend to be much more beloved, you know? And I'm curious your thoughts on that, if you engage in the trash talk or if it's just like, oh, we lost him for a second.
Oh,
nope, you're good. You're back. I am curious if you engage in the trash talk a little, or if you just like to, hey, I'm going to be myself. I'm going to be funny. And then I'm going to kill you in the cage.
I think I would engage in it a little bit. Like, you know how Max Holloway, they had Ilya and Max on a interview, and Max just kind of like hit him with the I've taken a lot of people's donuts, but I hope you like a churro. Like, what a slick line.
This doesn't make any sense. I love it.
Yeah, well, it's just slick. I mean, I was just sitting there. What a slick way to say I'm going to take your O and give you a loss. Like, so smooth. But then also, in another sense, is like, what do people look for? They look for people who are real. A lot of this trash talk's fake.
Yeah, I agree.
Everybody sees through the smoke screen. And what is better, and what do people just want more than somebody to connect to? Somebody that's willing to work hard, give them the time of day to talk to them as well. Realize, like, yeah, I'm a fighter, and I do realize the hype that's behind me. But at the same time, like, I tell people that come in the gym that try us out after Island fights that may have watched me before, they're like, "Oh, you're Cam Bennett." I'm like, "No, I'm just Cam. Like, I'm a normal human being too. Like, I've got a 9-to-5 job. Like, I work. And it's just be yourself. Like, everybody's over this whole fake, just putting on this persona that you're not. Like, nobody connects to that anymore. And nobody really, in the grand scheme, ever did connect to those things. It was cool because it was different. And it's cool to see people call their shots, but you're going to leave a legacy throughout, like, your life. This is more so about just being yourself. Be yourself throughout your life. I mean, I'm not trying to put on and be like, I'm different than everybody and then just talk a bunch of nonsense and then put on a completely different persona behind the scenes. Like, what you see is what you're gonna get. I'm just a hardworking guy, and I'm gonna continue to be that way, whether I'm fighting or not fighting. One day when I'm done fighting, I'm still gonna have a whole life to live. So I'm just gonna be Cam Bennett, guy from Pensacola, Florida.
I love it, dude. Last thing for you, Cam, then we're going to let you run, my man. Fight week, cannot wait. Friday night, Island Fights 85, Pensacola Bay Center, live and free on YouTube. Also, still tickets on sale. That's a very nice t-shirt you're wearing, my man. What's that about?
Yeah, Assassinato. I just got that deal done not too long ago, but I swung by the office yesterday and chatted up with Corey. Got some swag and some bottles. So for post-fight / birthday. So yeah, it's good. I'm excited to be working with them. A lot of things lining up, which is exciting because it's hopefully the first of many fights. So hopefully first of many opportunities.
There you go. Wow. Great sales pitch. They would be so lucky to have a guy like Cam Bennett underneath their banner. I hear the tequila's delicious, by the way. That's what I hear.
I'm excited to have some after the fight. Like, I've got it ready to go. So, I mean, they're already lining up with some of the best, so they got good taste themselves.
I know. Maybe I had some last fight, just a little sip every now and then. Maybe it was delicious for Island Fights 84.
Cannot confirm nor deny, huh?
Can't do it. Well, Cam Bennett, Killer Cam Bennett fighting. Weigh-ins are on Thursday. The fight is on Friday night. Cannot wait, my man. So pumped for you. So happy for you. Sure. I can't wait to call it, brother.
Yes, sir. Pumped, ready to go, and excited to see you guys. Ready to put on a show.
Cool, Cam. We'll see you then, all right?
See you later.
All right, Killer Cam Bennett, Island Fights 85. There's Cam. I can't wait. Oh, we're gonna. I think Keelan is joining in 5 minutes. I know you probably have to run. I got to run.
Are y'all gonna keep going? Is this more than a 2-hour show today, or just a quick 5-minute?
Yeah, maybe a quick. I guess the link I sent to everyone, it was my bad. I sent them the wrong link. James Lynch, the great James Lynch, is under that same StreamYard. So I sent that link. I didn't send him our link. So he was gonna come on, and I sent everyone the wrong link, Al.
If you guys want to keep chatting, I'll let you. I'll allow it.
Well, no. I got soccer games to coach and so much
I gotta
more.
go pick my drugged up dog from the vet.
So how's the house look? The house thing.
It's awesome. I'm gonna paint it.
It was nice.
Yeah, it's
It was
beautiful.
nice. I like the side yard was super cool.
I'm so pumped for the dogs to have a yard.
Yeah.
We let Caesar kind of run around while we were doing the inspection, check out the yard, and he was
Dude, I can't wait to have my own room. I saw I can have my own bathroom.
Dave, when Dave has to crash here, he won't be stuck on an air mattress. We'll have a real guest room for Dave to come down.
So I'm just gonna stay there. You're
just gonna live with us now?
Yeah, I'm just gonna put my studio there.
Sorry, Susie.
The kids are getting too much. They're just too much.
Sorry, wifey, you're on your own.
Yeah. We can do our Bible. We can read our Bible together and stuff. It'd be a great time.
Bible study.
Oh, guys. All right, guys. We giveaways. Giving away that Benny DeRouche card. I see the giveaway is doing great. The YouTube
channel. You're gonna send Christian a hat. You're gonna send Christian a hat.
What hat is it? Do you remember?
PFL, I'm pretty sure. Dave about to be a permanent resident. Yeah, I wouldn't be too surprised, to be completely honest. No more roommates. No more roommates for me and Grant. We're over that.
There you go. Christian sending this out. Look at that. Still got the tag in it.
It's actually really nice. It's a nice hat.
It's Christian's, not yours, okay?
Not bad.
I got to send that out. I'll do that tomorrow. More giveaways coming up. Dude, UFC 308. Dave, I missed that comment. So where are you at right now? Max or Ilya? Right now, got to pick.
Ilya. But it's like a 5%. It's like 5%.
I think so too.
I'm having a hard time imagining how Max is going to win the fight.
No, and this is where, if he wins, I can just see him being in that flow state, using the jab.
But it's going to be close.
Keep peppering him.
I can see Ilya like shutting him out. I can see him fighting him the way Volk did the last time they fought, which was not as close as the second one.
No, it wasn't.
And I can see him just mixing everything up and being in like constant pressure unless he slows down. I guess that's what I could see. Somebody said in the comments, actually it was Sean, here it is. I wonder about Ilya's cardio because he's never fought a really long fight to championship rounds. No, that's true. So we haven't seen him.
No. Josh Emmett, Jacksonville, Florida. I was there live.
That was a 5-round fight. You're right.
Yeah, and he dominated him. And you know this. It's hard to beat someone up for 25 minutes. Like, you just get tired of it.
Yeah.
He dominated Josh Emmett.
Emmett doesn't push quite the pace Max does, but he doesn't slow down. He's a pretty solid, steady pace for 3 to 5 rounds. Yeah. No, you're right. No, I forgot. I guess we have seen it.
And also, I hate to say it, I think Ilya knew this. I think this fight was, I saw someone say something about Ilya didn't fight since the champ. They had this fight was going to be towards the end of the year for a long time. We all knew it was going to be Max and Ilya next. We knew it after UFC 300. It was happening. So I think Ilya's been training, cardio. I think we're going to see 100% Ilya Topuria. We're going to see his best.
And you know what the UFC's setting up after this, right? Well, Diego Lopez is the backup for this fight. Neither Ilya nor Max are pulling out of this fight. It's not happening. These are not guys that pull out fight week. They're going to set up Diego Lopez and Ilya Topuria in Spain next year, which will absolutely sell out. That will be an incredible show to have in Spain. If they can have that as a main event for early, mid next year, that's the fight to make next.
So then what's next for Volk?
Winner of Aljo and Movsar.
Movsar has to fight and win again?
That guy's
undefeated. Well, he never loses.
It's obvious that they want Diego to get that title shot before Movsar. I think if Movsar goes out and rear naked chokes Aljamain Sterling in the first round, I think they still give Diego Lopez the next title shot. They want that fight to happen. And they want it in Spain. 2 Spanish speakers in Spain. One guy claiming Spain as his home country. that they need that fight to happen before, because if they wait too long and Ilya loses, that fight's no longer, as cool as it was. And then get this, if Diego beats Ilya in Spain, they have the ultimate rematch for the belt, Movsar and Diego.
Wow. Damn. Elle Dawson,
I'm just saying I should be a matchmaker. So
Elle Dawson. Guys, I'm not trying to we're about to leave here. Great show, great day. I'm not trying to always put up Fight Bananas as the best thing ever. I think we're pretty good. If you saw our last week of content, like Bo Nickel, Grant Dawson, Gillian Robertson, I had Charles Rose on one at a time. Ryan Gerald had Damon Jackson, who put on a great story, a great weight cut story. Chris Camozzi, who's a bare knuckle FC fighter. Carissa Maxwell had a great PFL session on Saturday. James Lynch had Mike Malott and Jasmine Javalicious on it. Absolutely. Yeah. Just the Fight Bananas.
Jasmine Javalicious. No, it's a hard one. I'll cut you some slack there. I actually talked to her. She was like, "Oh, I'd love to come back on Fight Bananas." I was like, "Oh, cool. We'll have you on." And then I saw she was on James's show. I was like, "Oh, well, we'll have you on again in a few weeks." So we'll definitely have to do something with her again after her fight. Sorry, Dave. Dave's done with me today.
Right,
you were just glossing over it, like hoping I didn't say it.
I had to. I can't put it. I had to move it quick. I almost didn't even say her name.
And Jasmine.
Long story short, great content. It was insane. It was a great week at Fight Bananas. We appreciate every single one of you guys. We're out of here. Keelan, we got to get Keelan on next week's show. I gave him the wrong link. I sincerely apologize. We'll get Keelan's on for the UFC 308 recap here in Fight Bananas. We'll have Maddie Levine back next week, Elle Dawson, myself, and more. We'll see everyone next week. Enjoy UFC 308. I think I can say this. We will be doing a live watch along with Miss Maddie Levine hosting the show. Maddie's hosting it Saturday. Come to Fight Bananas at 2 p.m. to watch the pay-per-view with Maddie and Fight Bananas. We'll see everyone next week. Elle, any last words?
No, guys. It's a pay-per-view week. There's nothing else to say. It's a killer card.